Welcome to Level Up Your Writing, presented by the Warminster Township Free Library. This video we're talking about foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is when a writer gives the reader a hint of what is to come. It can create suspense, dramatic tension, can make people curious, or it can simply act as a clue that not everything is as it appears. It can make the reader pay closer attention to your story and prepare them for big reveals so that they don't come seemingly from nowhere, which can make your readers annoyed, disappointed, or confused. There are several ways to introduce foreshadowing into your story. One is through dialogue. You could use an offhand comment, a joke, or something that reveals a character's personality in a way that the reveal will eventually call back to. For an example of the last one, you could have a character say, "You're so selfish, I wouldn't expect you to know what it's like to sacrifice your own happiness for someone else," which may foreshadow the character they are talking to eventually sacrificing their happiness for someone else. The book's title or chapter title can also be used to foreshadow events, as well as any symbolism you introduce into the story. Setting and atmosphere are another way to foreshadow. Weather especially can give clues or hints for what's to come, especially in terms of characters' emotions. Another way to use foreshadowing is with pointing out specific character traits or descriptions. For example, in Harry Potter, Professor Quirrell's turban is commented on as being unusual, and it's later revealed that he's actually hiding something underneath it. Foreshadowing is often invisible. Sometimes it's things that aren't significant or don't seem significant until after their importance is revealed, but in hindsight seem like obvious clues. Sometimes the reader can tell something is foreshadowing, but they aren't aware of the extent or the context until later. When foreshadowing is subtle, readers won't realize something is foreshadowing until after the fact, and then they'll suddenly see previous details of the story in a new way. This creates a more complex and layered reading experience. It's up to you how obvious you want the foreshadowing to be. If you make it very clear, this can create tragic irony, where the reader knows in advance that a tragedy will occur and is forced to watch as the characters unknowingly stumble into it. You can subvert people's expectations and throw them off the scent by introducing red herrings, which are clues that are intended to distract or mislead the reader that turn out not to be clues after all. But keep in mind that this can end up frustrating or confusing some readers. It's not a bad thing if people figure out your story before you get there. Some writers act like it is, and you may be able to think of some movies, TV shows, or books where surprising the audience and subverting expectations takes priority over telling a cohesive and satisfying story. But good foreshadowing, where the readers pick up on the clues you're putting down, can be just as satisfying, if not more, than an unpredictable plot. It can make readers feel smart, make them feel like the sequence of events in the story is logical, and there's a feeling of satisfaction when you see things come together in a way that makes sense based on what came before it. Even if people know something will happen, that doesn't mean you can't still surprise them. They might not know the how, why, or in what context this thing will happen. They may think they know what the foreshadowing refers to, but you can still surprise them by having it be something a little unexpected. For this week's writing exercise, find something you've written early in a story and pick out a detail that you can use for foreshadowing. Then write the scene where that foreshadowing's importance is revealed.